Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mac.
Hey, Jose.
And welcome back to Upper Country Farms.
Yep.
We're a 20-acre market farm up here in the beautiful Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And what we thought we would do today is take a few minutes and show you around the farm.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we haven't given you guys a tour in a very long time.
Yeah.
So those of you that have been here for a long time, we'll go around, show you what we've got going on, talk about our plans for the year. For those of you who have never been here, welcome. We'd love to show you around, show you what we have going on. So we have about 160 100-foot by 30-inch market beds for vegetables here on the farm. That covers about 1.5 acres of our 20-acre property. And then we have about 1 acre of orchard and mixed berries and perennial gardens. That also includes asparagus, some berries, some grapes. Some of those aren't producing yet. Don't get your hopes up. We're trying to get there, but we're not quite there yet. And then we have about 9 acres of pasture and maybe, the front property up here, and then a few acres, maybe 8, of trees and forest, native wild area, and we love it. It's so nice to go down there in the hot summer days and enjoy that cool breeze where the water flows. It's really nice. So we're going to take you around, give you a tour, and then at the end of that we're going to come back and talk about financially how we've done over the last 5 years, because I know a bunch of you who are thinking about getting into market farming are wondering if you can make it work. And I'll tell you right now, it's a long road. But our situation and our area is very unique, much different than people that are closer to large urban areas. We live in an extremely rural area, our biggest town being 25,000 people. So we'll talk about all of that and cover all of that with you at the end of the video. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned and we'll show you what we've made over the last 5 years. This is the start of our 6th season right now.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. We attend 2 farmers markets, one in Marquette, one in Munising. We're pretty much centrally located to both of those. It's about a 30-minute drive to each. We have an on-farm store and a 62-member CSA currently. So a lot of members and building. We are hoping to hit 70 this year, 85 next year, and 100 the year after that. That's the goal. The goal is 100 members. So we're getting close. We're almost there. So currently we're standing in front of our far out beds. These are the beds we utilize for our distance planting and things that we don't have to babysit that much. So long season crops, corn, Brussels sprouts, storage cabbages, potatoes. These are things we don't have to monitor very often. So all of our plots are set up. Each one has about 13 beds in it. There's a few in the main farm that are smaller with only maybe 6, but these ones out here are all set up with 13, maybe one with just 12. And then we rotate those plots every season. So we try to fill each season or each plot with exactly what fill it, and then the next season it just moves on to the next one. So behind me are the 2, last year was winter squash and onions and garlic was up on the hill. You can't see that one from here. We're about to set up a new plot over here, which will be broken into 2 sections, a 4-bed section and a 9-bed section. So we just don't have room to make a big one anymore unless we extend the fence line out. And right now, we're not doing that. I think we're pretty much at our size for a while. I don't think we can grow anymore until we really start hiring, because we're just too big and don't have enough time. And by the end of the season, we're overworked. So this year, this plot is going to be corn. We heard that planting your corn behind winter squash is a really great idea, that the winter squash has put the right nutrients into the ground. We're going to give it a try, see what happens. Up on the hill will be the Brussels sprouts, the cabbages, and the really long storage broccolis that we do. Those will be up on the hill here behind us. And then this new plot, we're going to run our meat chickens on it for a few weeks to get the nutrients into the soil. Jose will then till and form those beds, which we usually do a one-time till here, just because, as you can see, we're planting in grass and pasture land. We've got to break up that soil. The very first season we thought we could do that by hand. No, not in grass. It would take you days to build a bed.
Yeah.
So we will get that done, and then we'll cover it with plastic and let it sit all the way till this fall. We're going to plant strawberries there.
Oh yeah.
The old strawberry patch we had was taken over by grass, and we gave up on it. So that's the plan for this side this year. Let's take a look at the other side. I forgot to mention our plum trees here. We have 21 plum trees planted right here. I think we lost maybe 1 or 2 last season. We'll see what happens, because we thought we lost some apple trees and they're budding out this year. So you just never know. Nature is interesting. So here you see we have 3 plots. One of them is 12 beds long, but we're going to widen it to 13 beds. Probably not this side, because we need to be able to run the tractor through here.
Yeah.
We try to set this farm up so that we don't use the tractor a whole lot, but I'm going to tell you, if you can't get the tractor where you need it, it's very frustrating. So we try to set up a space for the tractor around each of our, we have things fenced off so we can run the chickens in areas in the fall. And we need to make sure that in each of those areas we can move the tractor around, bring a trailer in, especially if we're moving compost and things like that. You don't want to have to do it with a wheelbarrow any more than you have to.
Yeah.
So these 3 plots, this one is still in plastic from last season. Last season this was our Brussels cabbage and fall broccoli.
Yep.
This year this is going to be the potatoes.
Ooh,
so we're going to put the potatoes here. What we're trying to do, we're slowly figuring out our rotation system, but we want the potatoes to be well in front of, by several seasons, the garlic and the onions.
Yeah.
So the potatoes are going to be here. Last year they were there. Where they were last year is going to be the summer squash this year. And then the onions and garlic are on the far end there. So that way we rotate in this direction. So the onions and garlic will move into a different location next year, and then we're going to put the potatoes in directly behind them, so that, because the potatoes just seem to carry and bring in a lot of strange things, and we're trying to avoid that. Then over the hill, Pepper, shh, leave it, good girl. Then over the hill right here are apple trees. So the fence line here is not quite on our property line, but pretty close. We've given a few feet again so we can bring a tractor down the outside of our fence without having to run it on our neighbor's property. Not that he minds, but you never know who will be living there next, and we want to make sure that we can move our equipment around without having to impact our neighbors as much as possible. All right, so let's just walk out, talk briefly about our pasture and rotational grazing, and then we'll come back up and show you the main beds.
Right.
So this is the area for the new bed we're going to do. We'll do 4 lengthwise here across this, and then up. It's not going to be real convenient, but that area is fairly flat there. We can probably get some 100-foot beds in there. We'll try to put 9 there. The thing we've started doing, which we never did in the beginning, I was anti-plastic from the very beginning, and I was just talking on a market group this morning on Facebook. They were asking about how to keep weeds back, and we're just so large at this point as far as the size of our farm, and it just being him and I working out here in the fields. Weed suppression has to be something that we don't have to think about, because we really don't have time to come out here and weed. As much as I think ideally that would be great, I would rather utilize the plastic than be spraying chemicals. The chemicals just impacts the microbial life in the soil way too much for me. So plastic is the option we've been using, and it has been a game changer for us. It really frees us up to do a lot of the other things we need to do. This is our gate area out into our pasture, where we pasture our egg-laying birds and our lambs. We do lambs every year, and then also our meat chickens. The meat chickens are moved around in little tractors. We have a egg mobile or trailer for the laying chickens, which will walk you out and show you that. And then we buy every spring a few lambs. Last year we did 5. We're going to cut back to 4 this season, but we'll probably up it again in the future. It's just financially this year we're trying to cut back in a few areas, and getting 1 less lamb was a small cut we could make, so we did do that. This also, right here along this fence line, we had tried planting peaches over the hill, and we've shown you on a past video just a few weeks ago that the snow pretty much destroyed our peach trees.
Yeah.
It just shredded the branches right off of it because it's right where we get a massive drift. And the drift was about 5 feet deep. You couldn't even see the peach trees. Some of them may survive, but they're going to be very stunted, and we won't even attempt to try to save them at this point.
Yeah.
We do have more peaches coming this year because last year they were doing pretty good, and we thought, okay, we can do peaches.
Yeah.
Then our hopes and dreams were dashed by the environment, like happens sometimes. So this area here is open, and we'll probably end up eventually doing 2 full rows of peaches here. We can probably put in about 20 peach trees here, and so that will be the eventual goal. We also have pear trees coming this year, and then some more cherries because we need to replace some of our cherries that died. And then pears, we're just trying to increase our numbers. We maybe have 12 pear trees here on the farm, and I'd like to have it up to more like the numbers we have for plums. So be running 20 to 30 pear trees. We'll also take you down and show you the apple orchard, which now some of the trees are 5 years old. So I hope this year we start seeing production. We've basically kept the fruit cut off the trees for all of these first 5 years. We knew we didn't want to be, we want the trees to be very established and start bulking up before they start producing fruit. So we've made sure we kept most of the fruit cut off of the trees. But I think this year on the apple trees and maybe even a few of the plums, I'm hoping we'll start to see some fruit. We definitely are starting to see the tart cherries. This is an ideal area for tart cherries. They are happy. As you can see, they're our happiest trees on the farm.
Yeah.
The apples have been slowly getting established, but the tart cherry trees are like, woo! Yeah. So yeah, we have about 9 acres of pasture here. And then over in this corner, we have about 7 acres of woods. Yeah, it's like very swampy. We live in a very swampy area, so this area has a lot of cedars. It's wet most of the season, and we try not to disturb it. We really want wildlife habitat around the farm. So a lot of what we're trying to do is we do our plots, and then around those plots we're doing our fruit trees to give buffer around the property, to give buffer between all the different beds, and really allow areas for insects to... Jose's gonna sneeze. There is a lot of pollen in the air right now. I think yesterday we were working on some things. I went in the house and it was like my eyes could barely open. We were so pollinated. What was I talking about? Do you remember? The wild areas around the farm. So we try not to mow all of the areas all of the time. We leave a lot of flowering plants and other things. We let them go to seed, and let them flower so that the bees have a lot of opportunity. The native insects, the native birds, we've really increased the population of those things since we started the farm. We see a lot of predatory insects, which we weren't seeing in the first year. We see a lot of native pollinators, the bumblebees on the property. It's incredible. We're already seeing them, and it's barely been above freezing, which is I love to see. I think we have a nest over there because every time you and I walk by, we're like, bumblebee, bumblebee. Okay, let's walk out and take a look at the chicken trailer where we keep our laying ladies, and then we'll come back up and take you around the front end of the farm.
Last winter we barely see the top of this.
The snow here, this is the peach trees here, which they're looking pretty rough. The snowdrift here was easily 5+ feet deep. You could just barely see the tops of these 6-foot posts. The fence corner here is just destroyed. It popped all of our bracing. We're gonna have to bring a tractor out and push it back up and put additional bracing on. These fences don't necessarily need to it's not like we have cows or any animals that are pushing on the fences. No. The fences are here for two purposes: try to keep the deer out because they are destructive little creatures, and to keep the chickens out because they are even more destructive. So that's why we keep the fences the way we do. It isn't for, I mean, the sheep rub on them a little bit, but it doesn't have to be a super strong fence. It has to just be a visual barrier to our own animals and to the deer. Because the deer will come in and they really like to take one bite out of every cabbage. And financially, it's not very helpful. No. So behind us here is our chicken trailer that we utilize for our chickens. We lovingly call it our chicken palace. It is. It's very nice. But it is two big doors on the backside to get the eggs out of it, and it's just, we run it along the outside of the pasture, along the woods, because the chickens really love to get down in the woods. Fingers crossed we haven't had too much of a predator problem with our egg layers up to this point. We have had a few problems. One year there was a bear, broke into this, did some destruction, ate a couple of chickens. Bears are really looking for the feed though. They want that corn feed more than they care about the chickens. But we haven't had any problems really since then. No, we've seen some fox around, but usually we just mow the field down around the chicken coop, and that keeps the foxes away because they don't want anything to do with being visible. They want to be able to stay hidden in the grass. So, you know, we just try to do a few things like that, but up to this point we haven't had any long-term issues with the chickens, just minor problems. So now what we're going to do is we'll head back towards the main farm, which has our main beds, all of our summer like rotational planting, the things that are short season like lettuces, and then some of our apple orchard is up there, and a few other things we want to talk about. So to orient you now, behind us are the first plots we were talking about, all the different beds. Now this way is our main farm. This side is kind of our main production area. This is where we started, was over here, but right now here we have broken one of our larger hoop houses into two smaller hoop houses. One is a propagation house, so we utilize that one all season long for any starts that we have going on. They just get staged in there because we utilize our main greenhouse for our spicy peppers. So once we don't have table space in there anymore for starts, they go out there. And then the smaller one, what do we have planted in there right now?
We have beet and bok choy.
Bok choys, yep. So this field right here is pretty much bordered by a lot of cherry trees, tart cherries and sweet cherries. We have not had as good a luck. We're pretty far north for sweet cherries, but we've been trying some. The tart cherries, like I've said, are doing really well. And then bordering both sides of this aisleway are a few plums, and most of our pear trees are located right here. And they all are looking really good. They're slow to get established, but we've been over to our neighbor's house. We've been harvesting pears off of their trees, so there's hope for ours. Over here is just one of our garden plots. This one last year was peas and broccolis and some things that we were maneuvering through. Then just slightly down the hill from that are our asparagus beds. We have 6 100-foot asparagus beds, which this should be the first year we're harvesting. We harvested a little bit last year, but this is the 3rd season with them, I think. And so they should be pretty established, and we should be able to harvest off of them this year, and hopefully by next year it's gangbusters for us. Then we have several rows, maybe 5 or 6 rows of raspberries that we're struggling with. Someday we're going to get it right. We don't have the right soil for berries here. It's way too nice. Berries like a little bit sandier soil. They don't like this beautiful loam that we have as much as we want them to like it. So we're working on some things. We have got some blackberries established and some black raspberries. They seem to like it, but the raspberries, no. The grapes, no. So part of that is management. It's the one thing we let slide every year and don't do a very good job at. So we're now here in our main garden area. It's fenced all the way around. We have yet to get deer in here. I mean, the fencing is a little iffy to keep deer out, but so far, because of the amount the dogs move around and I mean, the amount of food around here, you know, we live right in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
So the deer, you know, they do come in and eat stuff on occasion. We've had a few trees taken out by them. In general, though, they don't disturb us too much here. A little bit further in the more out in those further plots, but not so much in this main garden bed. So in here we have our first 6 plots are over here. Not all of them are 13 beds. We have 1, 2, 3 that are 13 beds, 2 that are 6, and then 1 here that's I think 9.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not as big as some of the beds out there. We use these more for crops though that we're on quick turnover time. Lettuces, our peas and broccolis, our short season cabbages, they all go down in this area, and we turn these beds over more often.
Yeah.
We have an extremely short season here, so almost nothing gets planted more than once in the season. We are just expanded out enough, and the early stuff goes inside, then it comes outside. So like lettuce is inside first, then they come out here. So inside of these high tunnels we do multiple plantings, but out here most of our beds it's a one and done with the beds. There's just not enough time.
No.
Our season, as a matter of fact, you know, most of you watching this can already be planting, you're already going to farmers markets. We here are still almost a month away from our last frost date. So yeah, it's very dangerous to be putting anything out there, and we are just 2 weeks away from one of our busiest stretches of the year, because we have 1 month basically to get all of our full season crops in the ground. So corn, storage cabbages, Brussels sprouts, potatoes. It's a very short window to get all of our big full season crops in the ground, and you got to get it done by a certain date because we just don't have long enough of a season. So our first or last frost date is usually right around the end of May 29th or so, and then our first frost date is September 29th. Last year we got a frost at the end of August.
Oh yeah.
And that it didn't do too much damage. It killed all of our melons. So we lost all of our melon plants, and they quit producing, which it would have been a great melon year because then we got a frost in August, and then we didn't get a frost again till the end of October. We had 2 beautiful months. If it hadn't have killed all of our plants back, that's the bad part about farming. You just have to roll with the punches as much as you can. So here you can see we have 3 hoop houses. Sorry, these are all. This front one is a big Gothic from Farmer's Friend. It's 16 by 100. The back 2 technically are 14 by 100, but we pull the hoops out a little bit and make it a 15 by 100, and then we can fit 4 beds in there. So they're a little bit stretched out, a little bit wider than Farmer's Friend says they are. They're not 14, they're 15. And then down over that hill is, behind those 2 hoop houses is our apple orchard. And like we said, most of those trees are 4 to 5 years old now. So hopefully we'll start seeing production in the next few years. And we just went out there and looked. It looks like almost everything has survived. We know we've lost a couple over the years, but we've had pretty good luck so far. And then on this side is our 2 bigger high tunnels. We got these both 2 years ago on grants. So we applied for 2 different grants. One was NRCS, one was an UpCap grant, which is another organization up here that helps out some small farmers and wants local food for our communities. So we've got both of them almost at the same time. I think we're awarded them a month apart and had to have them both built. So we learned a lot, and we can build them now really well, but we did learn a lot trying to get those built. Ultimate goal is to have 1 more still, so we're going to work towards that. Financially, we want to be a little more stable before we add another one. But the goal for the 3rd one is that we can keep 1 heated and plant in it very, very early and plant in it very, very late and help keep things alive. I don't know that we'll ever do much growing here between mid-December through mid-February. There's just not. It's so cold. To heat something up here when it's negative 25, it's not even worth trying. So we are zone 5A. I don't think I've said that here in where we're at in the Upper Peninsula. Okay, let's walk over to the 2 high tunnels. We'll look inside them, and then we'll go out and check the bees.
All right.
So this is the first of the, well, it's actually the second of the 2 high tunnels. This is the one we built second.
Yep.
This was the NRCS grant. We did have cover crop in here, but I mean, you can see the grass right here is so thick that we terminated the cover crop early, because if we don't get this grass under control, I mean, why bother even planting? Because it just overtakes whatever we put in here. So this year, last year it was tomatoes and peppers. This year it will be peppers, and tomatoes will be in the high tunnel or hoop house that we just pointed out a minute ago that doesn't have plastic on it yet. And then we already have cucumbers and summer squash going in here, some of which we need to replace today because we've had some very cold temperatures that have killed a few. And then we have peas and radishes and turnips going in here already. So this will be fully planted out maybe the 3rd or 4th week of the month, which is still 3 weeks away. Yeah, this is the first one we built, and it was a struggle to learn all about building these. But now we know when we move on to our 3rd one, should be pretty easy.
Should be easy,
Yeah. So this is also the one that we plant first and last in the season. Right now we have a bunch of cool season crops in here. Carrots. We're growing some weeds, apparently. And then we have Napa cabbages, bok choys, kohlrabis, broccolis, lettuces, spinach, kale and Swiss chard, and then some peas. And then we've already harvested most of the radishes, some of the turnips, and the baby bok choys. We've harvested a lot of that. We also have green onions, beets, and celery in here. And then just for funsies, we did some fennel, and they're looking really good. I'm shocked. We may have to thin those to like every other hole, so they don't get too caught up. But absolutely, these 2 high tunnels are our pride and joy. Never did I think they would be so life-changing for us here on the farm. As far as keeping the bug levels down, keeping things warmer, giving us a controlled spot to try to control weeds.
Yeah, when we start planting here inside, the snow outside was
snow was all the way up the sides of these when we first started planting. And we probably plant a little earlier than is necessary, because once that heat kicks in, things pick right up. But we are already, as of last week, serving our members with crops we've been growing in here, which is 4 weeks before market. It really gives us a head start on selling for the season. These are our beehives. We started the winter with 6 and we ended with 4. One of the ones in the back's not real strong. We're trying to get it to recover, and now that the temperatures are up and there's starting to be food for them, they're clearly out foraging and working. We can see we're not standing anywhere near them, and we can see the pollen on their legs from here. So they're clearly out there finding food. We brought bees in the first season because we were not seeing many native pollinators. Our squashes weren't getting pollinated. It was really kind of frustrating. Now, though, we probably wouldn't need to have bees. We have so many native pollinators now working and coming in. We try to, when we can, let things go to flower, like our broccolis and stuff. If we do a final harvest and the plants aren't looking that good and it's still got some small heads on it, we just let them go to flower, because it really attracts the bees and the native pollinators.
Everything, even little small
birds. The birds love all of that stuff. The birds are really taking out a lot of bugs. We're seeing a lot fewer things. Like the first year we had a lot of potato beetles. We spent a lot of time picking potato beetles. Ever since that, maybe first 2 years, we hardly pick any potato beetles. So whatever was eating them up is around more often. We'll keep our fingers crossed that it stays that way, but I think last year maybe I picked 20 potato beetles. The year before that, the same. So we're going to be thankful for what's going on around here. So the bees are not run by us. Betsy, that works with us, these are her bees. So she takes care of them. She does everything with them. We don't have to do anything. Every year we get a few swarms. We try to catch them and start up a new hive with them. This is also our blackberry area. Originally, we wanted this to be our peaches. I ordered in a bunch of peach trees out of California, which was probably my first bad decision. Not that there's anything wrong with California. It's just the trees were not adjusted at all to this area. And we lost every single one of them that first season. We do have some apricot trees planted behind here. We lost one of them, but one survived. Those were not out of California. But I think we may try a few more apricots in this area over the next few years.
Yeah.
The other thing we're trying to do is plant some native fruits and native bushes along the outside of this fence, because our seasonal pond is here behind us, or behind the camera, and we want there to be an area for native wildlife to come in and enjoy whatever's going on, because we feel the more they come in here, the more balanced nature tends to be around here at the farm. And so we're really working on that. Just take a quick stop in here real quick while we're out here. Jose has this pretty much fully planted out.
Yep.
We have broccoli and spinach, and then broccoli and salad mix. This is lettuces here. Bib lettuces in full size are what we do. And then here we have kohlrabis, Napa cabbages, and full head cabbages down at that other end. These really, in about 2 weeks, don't need these hoop houses anymore. For a while, we were actually moving the hoop house. But because we've built end walls now, it's just not that easy to move these.
No.
So we're probably just going to leave them in place now. Some things you just, take up valuable space even though you don't want them to.
Yeah.
They do.
So we've been trying to be successful with
grapes.
No.
We've done a horrible job.
Yeah.
We see other people up here have grapes. There are vineyards. So this is our attempt at a vineyard. So we planted one year, lost pretty much everything. There were a few came back. So we've replanted, and we'll see how they come back this spring. It's just not working for us. Again, I think part of it's management. We have not done a very good job managing. We're working on that. We really need to hire to have help out here, just because there's too much work. And the fruit, because it's not producing, not making money at market, it's easy to ignore it all season. And then by the end of the season, you can't even find it because there's so many weeds.
Yeah.
So we're working on getting this area set up. We may try it on another area of the farm to see if we can get them to take off, because people do grow grapes up here.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. And one of the things we want to be known for eventually is fruit. That's why we've put in so many fruit trees and done the infrastructure we need for that to be part of what we're doing. It is definitely a long-term game, though, when you're putting in fruit. Any of your berries, any of that, to get it established, get it producing. You know, we've put in a ton of raspberries, and we get a few every year, enough for us to eat, but there's not enough to take to market. There's not even enough for our members at this point. So it's a matter of getting it established well enough that it's producing well enough that we can, harvest and utilize it at market. Otherwise, it's not even worth taking care of at this point, because we're so busy on other things. And then right behind this is where our apple orchard is. So all of our apple trees are down in here.
And they are good.
They're doing really well. I'm very excited. We planted them in a low, little bit wet area, only because all the trees on our property are in low, wet areas. Yeah. So they're not sitting in water, but they're definitely in a low spot on the property. And that's where all the other apple trees were. So we thought, let's do it. Just thought we'd take you in here real quick, show you the propagation house. This is where we keep most of our plant starts during the really hot season, because it is way too hot in our heated greenhouse to keep the cool season starts in. They don't like it at all. Oh, wire, go figure. So all this is just 2x4s set up on 4x4s with pallets on top, and it works out really good. We leave the sides on this open most of the year. We don't have anything in here yet because we're still, not last night, but the night before, it got down to 19 degrees.
It's probably coming more very cold night.
Yeah, we've got still some stuff down into the 20s. The problem, if stuff's in the soil and the soil is warmed up, you're fine. You're pretty safe on things like broccolis and all that. But if you have them in here on tables and it gets cold in here, it'll freeze those soil blocks. Yeah. Then your plant starts are done. So you just have to think, in the ground, safe. Soil blocks on tables, it's a little sketchy. So this will get started being used because we need to move onions out here to make room in there for tomatoes, probably in as soon as after we hit this next cold night. Once this 20, I think it's supposed to get down to 29, which means quite a bit lower here. I think the other night they were calling for 26 and we had 19 here on the property. So it gets quite a bit cooler than they even say it's going to get. And so we always have to be thinking about, you know, if it says 38, we're ready for frost because we're probably getting frost.
We're building this little chicken coop.
Our first season.
Yeah.
There were piles of wood laying around. There was some old tin roofing. So that's everything that's in that coop except for the wire that goes around it. We purchased that separate. It's all from, we never paid for a thing in there.
Yeah.
So it's, we actually couldn't, this was the first winter we couldn't use it. And the snowdrift inside of it was about 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
We had to move the ducks and chickens that were in there into the main barn, which doesn't surprise me, be how bad our winter was, but it's also a little disheartening because we like to be able to use this. But the snow was, they couldn't move around in there, just too much snow. The other thing I want to talk about up here is we've done some fruit trees up here. This is our front yard here, and behind the camera the road runs right here. But we've done, these are all cherry, we have 4 cherry trees planted right here, and then we have lined the front of the house with cherry trees and apple trees. Then we're also trying to interplant that with different bulbs. So Jose's put in a bunch of different flower bulbs, and then I've also put in rhubarb because I kind of want this feel where it's like the trees, the huge rhubarb plants, hopefully eventually. They're not very big now and the chickens are digging them up pretty good. But, and then all of those bulb flowers that Jose's planting, just to, I mean, we love this place and we want other people when they pull up to say, wow. So we're really working on building that right now. It is nothing like that. And we live in the world's oldest house. My dad always says, I buy properties for the garages, not for the houses. So we can look at that real quick. If you go back and look at some of our earliest videos of this property, when we moved in, nobody had lived in it for many, many years. It didn't have a working well anymore. Well, the well was there, but the pumps didn't work. There was no heat in the house. The heater didn't work. So we had to do a lot. Put in a water heater. There was no water heater to get this livable before we could move in. And it's not in very good shape. This side of the house was built, I would say early, maybe 1930. We don't know the exact date, it's a guess. But the foundation underneath is just the old tree logs. And where water has crept in over the years, they're rotting out. So the walls in the house are sinking. I think this is gonna have to be the year we're gonna have to do something about it because it's just in too bad a shape, and we can't fix anything in the house like drywall until that's fixed, because if you fix the drywall first and then fix the foundation issue and you move, the house moves, you're going to crack windows, you're going to rip up the drywall and have to redo it anyway. So this is a project we're sitting on, and if you're a small farmer, you know your house takes a back seat to everything else that's going on.
So now we are in front of the greenhouse.
Yep, this is our heated space. It's really our pride and joy, and probably one of the first things we built. The very first fall, the barn has like an open corner on it. So we enclosed that and thought, oh, that'll be perfect. And then that spring, it was like, oh, this will never be enough space. So we built the first half of it. And the second spring, we were like, well, that is nowhere near enough room. We built the second half. And then we were like, well, this isn't very functional during part of the season. So we put raised beds in there. And now we do all of our plant starts on top of those raised beds. They're dual purpose, and then we can pull the pallets and plant in those raised beds. So we do all of our spicy peppers in there during the heat of the season. They really seem to enjoy it. And so it's dual purpose. And we love this thing. We'll take you in there and show you. It is heated by I think it's 100,000 BTU Modine heater. Which works out great for us. I think we've only had problems 1 year, not with the heater, with the power going out. So we had to quick run out here, hook it up to the generator, which now we're better prepared to hook it up to the generator. And the power was only out for an hour, luckily, but we had it all set up and running before the power ever came back on. Because if the power goes out,
Oops.
yeah, we're going to lose a lot of crops. So far, we've been lucky not to have any problems. But anyway, this we built off the side of this barn, which this barn was pretty much brand new when we bought the place. 42 by 48. Part of it's got concrete floors, part of it's dirt floors. Where there's dirt floors, we keep our chickens and sheep. But we have big plans for the inside of this barn. We've been kind of talking about it over the years, but now we're to a size where we really need production areas. We need spots where we can climate control and store things. So the goal this summer, and this is a little bit dependent because we just applied for a grant for 2 walk-in coolers and everything that we need for those. So totes and shelving. We are going to try to build them inside of here. So we just went to the CoolBot and are looking at 2 of their, they just send you the kits. It's really nice. So we would like to put 2 of those in here. We also want to eventually put our wash pack station in here. We want to put a butcher shop in here for us, for butchering our own animals. And we want to put the farm store in this first door over here eventually, because right now it's over here and it's a very small space. Then we would transition this space into our germination space that we use now for our wash pack station and drying garlic. Eventually garlic and onions will be dried and stored upstairs in this barn. Would be perfect, other than carrying things up and down the stairs. But really garlic comes in and shifts anyway, so it's not like you're carrying everything all at once, and it goes out and shifts as we sell it. So it wouldn't be a big problem. And right now we carry it up and down into the basement anyway. So onions would be more of a problem because they all come in at about the same time. But we would figure that out. So that's the goal for this space. The problem is that it needs a very deep clean in there if we're going to make that transition. And now we need to build a space outside of here for our chickens, which would be probably the biggest expense, because we overwinter about 100 chickens. It's a pain in the butt to have to overwinter chickens, but right now we're getting, I don't know, what are we getting, like 6 dozen eggs a day?
They're crazy now.
It's nuts the amount of eggs we're bringing in, which is good, but also means we've got to overwinter those chickens in order to have early spring production like we do right now. Eventually we would like to have a walk-in fridge and freezer for meat, where we can hang beef, where we can hang our lambs. Hopefully eventually we're doing pork. So we would have an entire butcher area in there for that. The next bay over would be our wash pack station for veggies. So we would have the walk-in coolers for the vegetables. And we want to keep 2 walk-in coolers, one that is kept very cool and one that is kept somewhat cool, because part of the problem we have here is like things like tomatoes, we leave them sit out, but then they're subject to the temperature variation. So if it gets super cold at night and then warm during the day, fruit flies are obnoxious. And if if we're bringing in different harvests of tomatoes, the fruit flies that are on the first are then getting to the second, and we don't want to be sending fruit flies home to our members or anybody at the farmers market. So we need 2 different spaces that we're keeping at different temperatures to negate those problems that we sometimes have here on the farm. And then eventually it would be nice to have like the one stall set up where we could do dinners here. Have our members here, cook, enjoy dinner. I got big dreams. It's going to be a few years before we can get to those. The farm is not making that much money yet. So during most of the season, we keep the center of this open, and it's one big space, no separation. This time of year, we keep the center separated, and that's so early season we can keep the cool season crops on the warm side, keep them from freezing. And now we've transitioned. The cool season crops are all over here on this side that is not heated, and the warm season crops are on the heated side, and we keep that about 50 degrees, which keeps it above freezing in here, usually 33 degrees on really cold nights. So it's perfect temperature. The other thing we'll do is if we know we're going to get really, really cold temperatures, we won't put anything on the outer walls. But we're beyond that now. If we get nights like that, we'll probably quit farming at this point. All right, let's take a look at the warm side. This is where we do all of our starts and all of our work to pot up. So right now we've potted up all of our peppers for the season. Those are behind me on that table. Oh, except for the few that are right here. And then I've cleared this space because this week is potting up tomato week, which then will pot up all of our tomatoes for the season, and then all of the tomatoes for the first 2 markets that we're going to sell at. So that's a lot of work coming up. And then we also have some other smaller crops that need to be potted up, broccolis. We pot up herbs, things like that. We are keeping it at 50 degrees on this side right now because of all of the tomatoes and peppers. And we're going to have to heat this or keep it heated until end of May.
Yeah.
So it's now starting to stay, though, pretty consistent. And we only have to heat it, luckily, from about 30 degrees at night up to 50. Yeah. So we're not actually, this year, we have a 250-gallon propane tank. And we just checked it today. Now, remember, we've been running it for over a month now.
Yeah.
We've gotten it down to such a science, like when we need to run it, how often we need to run it.
Yeah.
We're only at 50% of that tank.
Yeah.
And I think we may make the whole season this year on 1 tank. The first season we heated this, we used 4 tanks. Last year, 2 tanks. And I think this year, we're going to make it all the way on just 1 tank, keeping this thing heated.
Yeah, I think the reason is those raised beds, they keep the heat, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
once they warm up, these raised beds, they hold a lot of heat. So yeah, that's probably true. All right, I hope you enjoyed that tour of our farm.
Yeah.
I thought we'd just take, for those of you that are curious or doing market gardening or market farming, I thought you might want to hear about how much we're making here at the farm. Because I know we all look at each other and say, oh, I wonder what they're, how they're doing it, how they're making it work. And we see a lot of questions on Facebook and other things where people are asking, can you really make a living market farming? And remember, we live in an extremely rural area. Our biggest town within driving distance is 25,000 people. So there's not a big city center. We are considered a food desert up here, which means there's not a lot of access to fresh food. But there's also not a lot of people. Some of our neighbors shop here, but there's no big towns right near us. Nowhere where we have access to 1 million people. It's just, I think the whole UP maybe is like a few million, but there's not very many people up here. I don't even know what the numbers are. But we'll share with you really quick our numbers that we've done. Our first year, our goal originally was to be making a living at this by season 5. We didn't quite make it, but we barely missed it. So we're very happy with how it's going. We're hoping that this year will be a year that pays not only for the farm itself, but also for all of our expenses. Yeah. We did come into this with some saved up cash. Yeah. So we had the benefit of that. We don't want to sugarcoat anything. We want everybody to understand that we had time to work into this, so we did not need. I've had a second job through some of it and may still do it because we're trying to pay off some of the debt that we've created, which don't take on debt. Literally, it's killing us. Like right now, we would be making it if we didn't have any debt. So we're trying to pay that off to get rid of that, and then we would be fine. So season 1, we made $16,000. Yep. And we were very happy with that. It was like, because we had no idea we were doing. We had never farmed. We had never attended a farmer's market. Our very first farmer's market ever, we made $300. And was like, whoa.
We can make it.
We thought that was really good. But nowadays, we won't even really show up to a market for $300 because it's not worth setting up to bring in that small amount for the amount of work we're doing around here. Year number 2, we hit 30,000, which again was a big step up from 16. Yeah. Still nowhere near being able to make a living at this. The farm expenses are a lot for us. Then season number 3, I believe we went up to, I'm trying to think of what season. So last year, so we made 50 in season number 3. We brought in 50,000. And then season number 4, we went up to only 55. Yeah. Which was a little bit disheartening because I thought, maybe we're overdoing this. Maybe this is not a possibility for us to be able to do this. Last year, though, we made a big jump. Yeah. And I think it's because we're starting to get a lot of long-term members who are spending quite a bit of money with us. We push our members to spend closer to $1,000 a year with us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And plus, we know better about farming. So.
Oh yeah, we're a lot more efficient. We're doing a lot better at market. We know exactly what we need to bring, so we're not doing a lot of extras.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 and 4 we made 50 and 55. Last year we brought in over 70,000. Now our farm expenses still last year because we pushed and we said we're going to do a few more things because a few more things will make life a little more comfortable. So we hit 77,000 last year, but we spent 60 to get there. This year though, we aren't going to use any savings. We are going to make it work. We can make it work at that number, at the 70,000, but we're hoping this year to hit 85 plus, and then by next season be hitting 100,000. So it's still not, we're never going to be making super good money at this, but we are definitely getting to a point where we're going to be comfortable doing this, because we don't need very much. The house is paid for, or the property is paid for. Like I said, we've incurred some debt, which if I went back and did it, we wouldn't have done it. But last year we really spent money and pushed to get us where we are now. So yeah, I would change a few things, but really we're happy with that we almost met our goal. And we love farming. I think if you want to be this kind of a farm, it's a labor of love for sure. Yeah. Because we have a lot of time off in the winter, but we work very hard in the summer. Yeah. So feel free to ask questions. We're happy to share. We think the more small farmers, the more people that are buying local, it can only make this world a better place. Yeah. And so go out and shop local, look for local, ask us questions. If you're thinking of doing this, riddle us with questions. We would love to answer those for you. Yeah. Did you want to add anything, Jose?
No.
Do you love this?
Yep.
Yeah, we really love this. Again, my name is Mac.
And Jose.
And we are Upper Country Farms.
Thank you.